Welcome back. Well, since we've been talking about selling on eBay, I thought today we would look at an issue that we discussed, several months ago when we were first talking about online selling. And that is, can you go online to eBay, to Etsy, to Poshmark, to whomever, buy something today, turn around and put it right back up there and sell it tomorrow for a profit? Well, the short answer is yes, you can. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. Last week, I mentioned to you that I had made a purchase from an eBay seller with zero feedback. I didn't have a lot of concerns about it. So now let me tell you about the purchase. It was a collection of lusterware. It's approximately 40 separate pieces if you count all the lids and, whatever. And the seller had it listed as an auction at a $50 opening bid, and that was combined with a $100 buy it now price. So I knew immediately it wasn't going to sell. That's just something experience tells me. This is going nowhere. I threw it in my watch list and I let a week go by. And the seller, in fact, relisted it. Same terms. So, pulled up the listing again. I went over to my sniping service. That is Gixxon.com. If you don't already use them, you really should. It's, first of all, free. How could you beat that? I use an upgraded service that costs me a whole $11 a year. And trust me, it saved me more than that. It virtually saves me more than that on every transaction. They just go in, they do it for me. I don't have to worry about standing over my computer saying, gee, is that auction going to end now? I need to be here. No, I don't. I give them the maximum amount I'm willing to bid, the item number. They do it for me. Bless their hearts. And they only charge me $11 a year. Oh, my. And if you are collecting, especially among doll collectors where sniping is everything, you have an auction. Everything that goes on in that auction is going on in the last 30 seconds. So they all snipe. So you want a good sniping service. Anyway, I recommend Gixxon. So I threw my bid in, walked away, completely forgot about it. It's like, okay, we get it, we don't. And of course, no one else was bidding. No one else was even looking because, and this not to pick at that seller because this was a new seller, but the pricing was all wrong. A $50 opening bid, a $100 buy it now. No, that doesn't fly, especially if you just take a few overhead pictures with your cell phone and have a description that says hand-painted lusterware from Japan, lots of pieces. And actually, that really is almost all they said. So, it's mine, mine, all mine. The seller did a very good job of packing. It wasn't the way I would have packed it. I don't use those little styrofoam bits and things, and I'm quite certain she got herself into a lot of trouble on the shipping. As it happens, when I unpacked the boxes, I stuck the boxes on my postal scale to see, and it came in 2 boxes. Each one of those boxes weighed over 2 pounds, and that was just with the packing materials and not the dishes, which means the packing materials were too heavy. The boxes themselves were probably too heavy. There was a lot of money spent on shipping that didn't need to be and probably shouldn't have been. However, everything came in really good shape. Not worried about that. There was one little minor problem, and again, we'll get into that later. I'm not worried about it. I think this new seller did a great job. Having said that, I'm going to do a better job. I am going to make 3 times what that seller made on these very same items. And that is my goal, by the way. If I get a collection like this, I want to make 3 times what I paid for it. Now, I was the only person bidding. The opening bid was $50. That was my bid. And then there was shipping and taxes on top of it. So the total cost came to $65.25. So I've got to turn this and gross $200. Now I say gross because I'm making an allowance in here for the costs of selling. So if I get something like this in, that's why I want 3 times my investment, because the first third of that investment repays me for my investment. The second third repays the cost of shipping, the packing materials, the fees, the actual postage costs, and any other little sundries involved. For example, there's salt and pepper set with a mustard pot that came without a spoon. That comes out of my spoon stash. So little bits like that are my overhead in selling. And then the final third, well, that's, the $65 profit that will come back. So let's talk about what I got, because this is what you ought to be looking for in your in the listings that you want to grab. You want to pounce on them, take them home, split them up, reconfigure them, sell them properly, and make a profit. First thing is you have to be able to recognize what you are buying. This is lusterware. Of course, I knew what I was buying, and I could see that the condition overall was good. So let's take a look, and I will start explaining. Now, this is a salt, pepper, and mustard pot caddy. I sell these in my Etsy shop all the time for $25 to $30. This is a nice one. Lots of gilding, that standard blue and peach lusterware. It has a little design, little white flowers on it, give it a little bit of interest. One of the two, there are 2 of these. One of them was missing a spoon, so I stuck the spoon in this one. I'm not sure which the spoon will go to. I'll give it a better look and put the spoon with the one it actually goes to. Little piece like this, $25 to $30, and this is what I get for them. And it's not just me. If you take a look at the asking prices on eBay for sets like this, you will find that that's pretty much the low end. Oh, because free shipping. So if you start to look at eBay and add in the shipping costs, you're looking at $25 to $30 being the very low end. And as I said before, I keep my costs down on the Etsy shop. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh my goodness, I like that, but I can't afford it. That's, Here's another one. This is a little, I'm going to have to take this out to show you the shape of this one. See? And again, $25 to $30. This is not speculation. I sell these things all the time. So even going with the lower end, the 2 salt and pepper caddies are going to bring me back $50, which is the amount I bid on this. And it's a no-brainer. This is not like, oh, maybe I will sell it, maybe I won't. I will put these up in my Etsy shop, and they will not last a week. I'd be surprised if they last a few days, because people love these. These are just great. And I think they resonate with some of us in part because they kind of harken back to a more elegant era. I don't know what it is, but these are pulling on the heartstrings of people. So with those two pieces alone, that's what I paid for the collection. Now let's take a look. The shipping and taxes was another $15, so let's grab a $15 piece. This is not Japanese, by the way. This is Czech. This is beautiful Czech picture in the set. Again, it's peach and blue. Yes, honey, you can come up. Well, where are you going? All right. Beautiful modeled coloration. Yes, we're here. All right. You see a lot more of this modeling in European lusterware than you do in Japanese lusterware. Almost looks marbled. This is great. And I'm sure you can see there is no question that that will sell for $15. Bang. There are my costs. You know, that's what I paid for this. So I want to make sure I turn a profit too. So I have to do this 2 more times. I know. You want to go? Oh, let's take a look at these then, for example. These, it's a pair of egg cups, peach lusterware with a little black line. Very pretty little pieces. I won't have any difficulty selling these for, again, $15 with free shipping. Same thing, Japanese, no line. Again, just a pair. And if you happen to like soft-boiled eggs, you need egg cups. So we're looking at another $30. And mind you, this is gross. This is before expenses. So another $30. So let's take a look at, how about this? Do you want to see the cups? Here's a cup. Yeah. Yes, of course you do. That's not yours. All right. This lovely teacup, peach and blue. It's wonderful iridescent white interior. And it's got saucers, and I've got 4 of them that came with this set. Ooh. But there's more. Here's our teapot with our lid, and it's a lock lid, which is always nice. We've got the teapot. We've got the sugar, and as you can see, very good size pieces. And we've got the creamer. And if we take a look at pieces like that, it's going to be between $30 and $40 because it's tea service for 4. And the thing I like about this, again, is blue and peach lusterware. You can combine it with lusterware in other patterns very easily because it's simple. It'll just slide right in. And if you have fancier bits of lusterware, yes, I know. I keep forgetting this is my kitchen. Of course, there's lusterware. You know, peach with a fancier blue rim. They will go beautifully together. Won't even look out of place. We also got this. It's a very nice bowl. It's got a scalloped, ruffled edge. And again, $15 to $20 easily. I'd probably go a little higher if I throw in the shipping. Larger salt and pepper. Again, peach blue. Not looking at anything. No patterns on this. So something like this can fit in to almost anybody's existing lusterware collection. Then, got some other interesting stuff. This is a little Japanese serving tray. It's flat, and as you can see, it's large enough to really, use it for service. It will hold the salt, pepper. trays like these often sat in the middle of the table, held the salt and pepper and the napkins and whatever. That was the primary use of these trays in the early part of the 20th century, or frankly right through the mid-20th century. A very interesting piece, blue and white, not blue and peach, but no problem matching that up with fancier blue and white pieces. So again, same thing, it will blend. This, which is nice, well, I've always called them relish trays. I know people call them celery trays. What I use them for, by the way, is generally not relishes or celery. I use them as vegetable servers. If I want to serve, peas or something, this is the kind of thing that I put it in, because I find people can get the peas out a lot more easily than they can if it's a large bowl. So this was the set that did not come through intact. One did, and one came through damaged. The reason it came through damaged is none of these items were cleaned. There was sugar in the sugar bowl. There was salt and pepper in all the salt and pepper shakers. And this one, this little shaker, salt, I believe the salt got wet and the mess probably expanded a little. So that's how this ended up cracking. It's unfortunate. It's a nice piece. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because, as I say, it was very well packed. It was not the seller's fault. So this one is probably going into my orphan salt and pepper shaker collection because they become toppers on Tidbit trays. This came with it too. All right, some of you have already figured this out. This is not lusterware. This is Fire King. This is glass. This is called Peach, and it's the Lotus Bowl. But gee, I can understand somebody making the mistake. And although it wouldn't have occurred to me to go out and get a piece of Fire King to throw on a lusterware Tidbit tray, that's exactly what's going to become of this. It's only worth about $5 if I were to sell it. So, Tidbit tray pieces. And this totally intrigued me. I have no idea what it is. I am guessing it's a hair receiver. If I match this up with modern pieces in this general configuration, I would say it's a garlic keeper. But kitchen gadgets were not a big deal 70, 80 years ago, so I do not imagine this actually was a garlic keeper. Bottom line, no idea what it is. It's interesting. It's very nice looking, perfect condition. So I'm just going to set that aside because I know I could probably list that in my Etsy shop right now and say I have no idea what this thing is. Give me $15 and you can decide, and somebody will want it because it is pretty. And what I would do with this is I would load it up with potpourri or fragrance beads and use it like that. So we've just gone through this stuff, and $200, and then I just explained $200. You can follow along in my Etsy shop and watch and see if that doesn't happen. But there are also 5 of these. These are not going to get sold in their present state. These are going into the Tidbit tray stacks because they're beautiful. Plain blue. They will match up with all kinds of interesting plates. This is Japanese. This plate. This is Spode, English. But let's see if I can get it there. There we go. Now you can see it. Look at that. See? These plates are going to do wonderful on Tidbit trays. And that was what first attracted me to this collection. So, remember, 3 times I want the first third to cover my investment. I want the second third to cover my selling expenses, packaging, shipping, anything. Well, like I say, like this little spoon, it's part of my overhead. All right. And the final third needs to be profit. That's what makes it worthwhile. So I told you that when I saw this set listed, $50, and that was the auction price, buy it now of $100, I knew right away it wouldn't sell. So let's talk about why that is for a minute. The auction start price was too high. Unless you are selling something that your buyers can quickly and easily identify as being worth more than, say, $200, $250, a $50 starting price is not going to get you bids. Now, if you're selling a very fancy computer, new or used, $50 will get you a good starting bid. If you are selling, designer dolls, you get a very fancy doll, you know the doll is going to sell in the $500 or $600 range, a $50 opening bid, people are going to jump all over that. But this, no. This is a collection of lusterware. Most people do not know the value. The seller took a few overhead shots. By the way, I took an overhead shot because I don't want to use the seller's images. That's her work. So I just took an overhead shot, one, when it was sitting on the table so that you could see. If you don't know lusterware, you would have a very hard time sorting out what this stuff is, very hard time figuring out what it's worth. And it just so happens I deal with this all the time, every day, so I know what this is. In a case like this, the seller would have gotten a lot more action if she had gone down to maybe a $10 opening bid. Now, that would have been chancy, because if nobody else wanted this, I would have gotten this for $10 instead of $50. But you have to support that with good photographs and good descriptions. We did not have good photographs. We had a 2-line description. Many items, salt, pepper shakers, teapots. That's pretty much what the description said. Sadly, it was probably an example of the worst way to list your items. To my mind, it was inviting a reseller to come in, grab your stuff cheap, and turn it at a profit. In order to avoid that, you need, if your prices are going to go to auction, you need an enticing opening bid. You need something. Jocelyn, for example, all her auctions, they start at $4. If the item is worth $4,000, it starts at $4. She does that. Her attitude is, hey, I'm getting it cheap. If somebody else gets a good deal, how am I hurt by that? Which is a good attitude to take. And it encourages bidding. So it's a smart attitude to take as well. If you want to do an auction format, start your bidding low. Whenever I did auctions on eBay, I started everything at 99 cents. Dolls, doll clothing, didn't matter. If it went to auction, that's where it started. And now that was many years ago, so I'm not sure I'd still do 90, maybe I'd do $4, But I wanted it to be a real auction. If I wanted to put a buy it now price on it, I would. So, also, I think the $100 buy it now price was never going to happen. In part, it was too far away from the opening bid price. So that's another interesting thing. If you have an opening bid price that is like $50 and a buy it now price that is $100. It's too far away. If your opening bid price is $50, you want your buy it now to be 60, 65, something like that. You want them to be close enough together to actually convince some buyer that rather than struggle through an auction, they should just give you the $65 and be done with it. Because that's what the auction price with an accompanying buy it now is all about. It's to also attract the people who want it now, don't want to take the chance of losing it in an auction, but you have to make the price sufficiently attractive to them. A $15 difference, they will probably say, hey, my time's worth more than that. I'll give you $15 just to have it. But $50, no, that doesn't work. So that was another mistake. Again, the biggest mistake was the pictures. You simply cannot snap a few shots with your cell phone, walk away, and hope you're done with it. Your pictures will probably need to be formatted. You take a piece, people want to see the front of it. When you take a piece like this, turn it over, all they're seeing is the top. A lot of people won't even be able to identify what it is from that angle because they will be used to seeing it like this. So, in order to avoid this seller's mistakes, good pictures, plenty of them. When you're selling a large mixed lot, make sure that you're doing this and you know what you're doing. In other words, you're not doing it just because, oh, I'll make more money on a large mixed lot. No, you won't. In general, you will make less money on a large mixed lot unless you have a few very valuable items and you point them out. So, let me just go back to the doll world for a moment. If I were selling a large mixed lot of clothes, and this happens all the time, and I had a few pieces from certain named Barbie outfits, I would throw that in. Shoes from senior prom, apron from whatever, and then people would be inclined to bid on it. They would say, well, I want this piece, I want that piece. I'll take the rest of the lot. Won't be a big deal. In a situation like this, that's not going to happen. Your best bet is going to always be doing what I'm going to do, which is break it down, sell it individually. So, also, you want good descriptions. You want people to know what they're getting. 2 sets of egg cups, some German, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't take that long to write it up. So that was another mistake. The final mistake, which is the mistake that might actually force this good seller off eBay, and this is a good seller. This is someone who made sure everything was packed carefully, made sure I got it intact. As I said, there was one little accident. Given the effort she put into it, I know that was not her fault. I have no trouble believing that salt froze in the shaker. Yes, it would have been nice if she had cleaned out the shakers, but hey, what can I say? Part of the reason I'm sure that I got a good deal on it was the lot wasn't cleaned, So you take the good with the bad in a situation like that. But the shipping, I have no idea what her total shipping costs were, but I would bet you anything that it was a lot more than the $11.55 she charged me. This came out in 2 boxes. And as I say, 4 pounds of packing materials alone in those 2 boxes. And I went online, to the post office and put in 2 2-pound boxes, sent out priority. That's just her box, her packing material, none of this. And found that alone was more than I had paid. So she grossly underestimated her shipping. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was she should have come to me and told me, before any of this happened, that she had grossly underestimated the shipping. I'm not sure how we would have worked that out, but at the very least, I could have told her how to save money on shipping. I might have split the costs with her. You know, we could have done something that would have reduced her losses. So instead, all this stuff, and now I don't even know what to say, because the transaction is over at this point. I would have preferred an opportunity to sort this with her so that she didn't take quite such a loss, because I'm not sure she's going to continue selling on eBay. This was a very bad first experience. So always keep in mind, you get yourself in trouble, you go to an experienced seller. I don't care if you have to just run through eBay listings and grab one at random. So you've got 4,000 feedback. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Believe it or not, most people will. So, all right. This is how you can buy on eBay, sell on eBay, make a profit. Keep that in mind. Now, we never did get the winner from the I Will Survive, and that's right up here, the Rose Medallion Cup and Saucer. I'm setting that giveaway aside. I'll redo that some other time. I'm sorry that the winner never got in touch, but we've already had our 2 weeks, and we've formulated that policy for a reason, so we're sticking with it. We have too many other giveaways to worry about this one. We'll pull this out later. Next giveaway. This is one of Karen Hopper's repurposed jewelry bracelets, and that is our giveaway for today. So, interested in the bracelet? Here's how you enter. Leave a comment on this video. Comment needs to say, "Thank you, Karen." So, thank you, Karen, in the comments, and we will enter you in the giveaway. The Photobomb Kitty will be picking names, and the way it works is I will give you a full week to put your entries in. So, as of next Saturday, the entry time is closed. The Photobomb Kitty gets a week, and he picks a winner. He gets in there and he does his little thing, twitches his whiskers, and starts licking somebody's name on the computer screen, and we know that's it. Then you'll have 2 weeks. I will announce you every video for 2 weeks, and you will need to respond. So if you enter the giveaway, please, please, please follow up. Names are announced. They're listed in the notes. If you've won, it's hard not to be aware of it. All right. So good luck on this. I will see you all tomorrow.